Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a new episode of Flesh Wound Farce, where we review and discuss your and our favorite comedy films. This is the world's first and only combination trivia host and professional wrestling announcer of Chilean descent that currently resides in Southern California, Ozzy V. And with you as always on this program, first in the Northern California Bay Area, world-famous juggler Greg Larson. How you doing, Greg?
We are literally one day, well, I am in real time, one day away from getting to see Dream Theater live again, so I am ecstatic. How about yourself, Ozzy?
With the way you started that, I was like, okay, it's either like a brand new video game that's coming out or it's Dream Theater.
Yes,
And you
yeah.
hit with the Dream Theater. So
Which I got my
very
new
funny.
Dream Theater headphones.
Oh, look at that. With not noise canceling ability, but hell blocking ability.
Yes.
Is that right? Excellent.
Yes.
Love it. Also with us, ladies and gentlemen, Fleshwound producer Todd. How you doing, Todd?
Chilling.
Are you excited for Oscars week? I mean, we're filming on the 23rd, so it's coming up. Just thought I'd ask you. Yeah.
I am. I'm doing my final cram to get everything in before our big Oscar shows.
And if you're watching this and it's air date, the Oscar show would be available that time to review on YouTube, I presume, on the Fleshwood Features channel. All right, now let's get started with today's episode where we get to review and discuss the fabulous sequel, Naked Gun 2.5, Smell of Fear. Todd, do you have a trailer available?
Yes, sir.
Washington, D.C., where violence explodes every day. But America's toughest cop is pounding a new beat.
Lieutenant Drebin.
The police squad is back.
Is this some kind of bust?
Very impressive, yes.
They're ready for action.
How you doing, Trooper?
Ready for love.
I'm lonely, I'm lost, I need someone to hold, to love.
Frank, over here.
And ready for seconds in the movie that proves you can lead a cop to water, but you can't.
Oh, he's wearing the
make
murder
him
outfit.
think.
The water's over there, Frank.
Starring Leslie Nielsen.
I don't recall seeing your name on the guest list. Nothing to be embarrassed about. I sometimes go by my maiden name.
If it's not dangerous, he's not interested. Priscilla Presley as the irrepressible Jane. Robert Goulet as Quentin Habsburg.
The truth hurts, doesn't it, Habsburg? Oh, sure. Maybe not as much as jumping on a bicycle with a seat missing, but it hurts.
George Kennedy as Captain Ed Hocken.
Congratulations. I understand that Edna's pregnant again.
Yes, and if I catch the guy who did it. And O.J. Simpson as Nordberg. Step on it. If you only see one movie this year, you ought to get out more often. The Naked Gun 2.5. The Smell of Fear.
Give me the strongest thing you got.
This is a sequel so big, they had to add another half.
And that was the trailer for Naked Gun 2.5, The Smell of Fear, released on June 28th, 1991, with a runtime of 85 minutes, rated PG-13. I did find it funny. When you compare this one and its original, the original was rated PG, but released in the 80s, and had a lot more things that should have made it a PG-13. Now we're here in the early 90s with this one, a little bit more tamer, but still now a PG-13. If you were going to point out the 80s PG versus, PG-13, this would be a good thing to point out here.
They got a lot stricter in the 90s.
They sure did. Written by David Zucker and Pat Proft, who some may remember as one of the creators of Police Academy. Directed by David Zucker himself, starring Leslie Nielsen, Priscilla Presley, George Kennedy, and featuring Robert Goulet. Initial thoughts on this? This was one that I really wanted to see in the theater, but nobody else in my family wanted to. Like, my dad didn't want to go see it even. because after watching the commercials, this looks so stupid. I don't want to go see it. I was like, no, but it looks so good, you know. But I remember getting excited when like we would get the free previews of Showtime or HBO or whatever, and then it came on. I was sure to record it, and on VHS tape. Now, granted, I didn't know anything about quality back then. I was just a kid, so
EP.
I had I had 3 movies to a tape at least, so that was cool. But the last time I revisited this particular movie, I think was before I even entered high school. So
Mhm.
seeing it now, especially, there's some jokes in here that aged very well. Actually, which is kind of amusing when you get to the politics of it was hilarious.
Mhm.
Although my favorite was kind of impartial and timeless, in my opinion. We'll get to that shortly. But I was just as pleased it wasn't hard to please me as a child, but whereas the sequel doesn't feel like as good as the original, this one definitely it's almost like the Godfather of comedy movies, almost. I don't know, or maybe like the comedy movies directed by Christopher Nolan, I guess. Because I've been on the Batman kick recently, so all those movies are good, in my opinion. Anyway, but
Mhm.
oh, give me a break, Todd. Shut up.
Nolan's so
Anyway,
overrated.
okay, well, we can't have that discussion for another day. But my point being is this holds up to it. It still feels the same. It feels like a true successor, so to speak, even though a lot of the stuff was happening, even the same exact jokes, but it felt fresh enough that kept you invested and didn't make you think that you were just watching some rehashed material.
I
in
think
my
it coming from a TV show helps too, because it does just feel like another episode in what would be the series.
Right, Files of Police Squad, right.
Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
Even though they do recycle a lot of jokes from those again, but
If it fits, it fits.
Right.
it's a new stage. That was the indies. This is the main roster.
Right.
Look, Looney Tunes taught us you can make the same joke in different ways and it's still going to be great. So, and this is one of those kind of films. It is a Looney Tunes craziness, zany kind of film. And I don't remember the first time I saw this, but I know I've revisited this movie several times. And one of the things that's interesting is we take our notes for the show and we have our favorite moments, and we definitely add a few of them in here, just in case someone else grabs the one we're planning on taking. And most of mine were in that trailer, but that's not to say that this movie wasn't packed with a bunch of great bits, because a lot of things do have like the best things in the trailer and then that's it and it falls flat. But like this movie, I remember, has always like start to finish been a lot of fun. Not to bury the lead of where my ratings probably gonna go, but this I don't think I'll get tired of this movie. And so I was really excited to revisit this one again.
Yeah, to your point about it being just full of just packed with joke after joke, I needed to watch the beginning twice, like of him and walking into the crime scene, because I was laughing at all the visuals that I didn't hear what was going on, so I needed to go back, and then there's some extra stuff there. It was
One
it's such a pleasant treat.
There's even one bit in there that like nowadays is funnier than what it was. Like that moment in the trailer where what's his name? He was making a comment about his wife being pregnant. And he was like, if I catch the guy who did it, and then OJ walks in after saying, if I catch the guy who did it, brilliant in
See,
this
this
day.
movie aged very well.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think these movies made it easy to believe that OJ was too dumb to commit the murders.
Hey, but he can play a mean trumpet.
Oh, and he's wearing the murder outfit throughout the whole movie, got the beanie on and everything. I mean, he's just,
So, Greg, I think we got your initial thoughts. Todd, did we get yours?
I didn't get too specific. I've enjoyed this one since it came out. I haven't revisited. I've probably seen the first one and the third one the most for some reason. I think the third one was on one of those HBO loops, and I'd catch it when it was on quite a bit.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so it was fun revisiting this one. I will say it didn't hurt. I just saw Ghost in the theater for the 35th anniversary, so the joke felt fresh.
Perfect.
Did you guys catch Weird Al in his cameo?
I didn't in
No.
this one.
So there's a scene when Frank goes to the police station and he's about to come in, and there's actually the police are being held hostage by a gunman. And he says, "You pigs, say your prayers." And then Frank opens the door and knocks him out. That was Weird Al. If you were to go
okay,
back,
yeah.
it's like very brief where you just see a guy with long curly hair. You
Right.
pigs, say your prayers. And then Frank comes in and hits him in the head with the
I
door.
know the part you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. That's Weird Al.
Oh wow. I'll have to go
To
and look
follow
now.
up with his first cameo from the first movie.
Now, does he have a secret third one? I guess we'll have to wait.
That's what I'm gonna be looking for, because you kind of have to. And
Yeah.
if he's in that one but does not have a cameo in the newest one, we'll have some people to talk to, assuredly. So let's get into our favorite moments. I want to go first, but I feel that would be selfish. So would
Okay,
either of
let's
you
see.
guys like to go first?
Greg, why don't you go first?
Oh man, I can't help it with this one. It's in one of the opening moments where they're going and they're describing who they think might have been the guy who left the bomb and whatnot. And when describing, Jane goes, "He's Caucasian." And he's like, "Caucasian?" And she says, "Yeah, white guy with mustache, about 6'3". Awfully big mustache. Love those bits.
Yeah. Todd?
All right. Mine is when Frank's getting chewed out, and I forget what she was, the lady
Commissioner?
the commissioner, which she's just yelling, "Because of you, this city's overrun with baboons." And his response is just, "Isn't that the fault of the voters?"
The best part about that, I actually had that written down. The best part about it is you had the Standards jazz band playing in the background. So you had the joke snare happen immediately after that. But because the music was already going, it didn't seem so jarring. And I got so dizzy from laughing so hard at that one stupid joke. And like the joke itself, okay, yeah, that's great. But to add that drum snare when you weren't expecting it, I mean, because you already, oh man, that just, especially since he's like dressed up like all fancy, and then you hear it, just like almost like a positive punch to the brain. I don't know, it's the best way that I can describe it. Okay, so I'm gonna have to go with my number two. First
Did I
off,
take your number one?
you did take my number one. But I will say that I just want to take a note of all the political jokes that are in here have aged quite well. Not my favorite moments, but a lot of those jokes were hitting pretty hard. It was when they're in the sex shop and Ed, George Kennedy's character, picks up the chainsaw powered sex toy. Holy cow. That must have been edited from the part that I saw when I was a kid. Or maybe I just didn't like, I don't know what that is. I'm not going to pay attention, because if I ask what this is, they're not going to let me see this movie anymore.
Right.
That's what it was like when you were a kid. You learned if you ask, "Hey, what's this supposed to mean?" They don't want to tell you, so they're just going to tell you can't watch the movie anymore. What? That's in there? You can't watch this? Well, I just want to know what it is. I can't tell you. So anyway, okay. Well, those happen to be our favorite moments, and again, like chock full of other, like it was very, very brief. But when they put a boot on a wheelchair. Oh, that was so great. I'm sorry. I felt like I snuck in a couple of others. Did you guys have a couple more you'd like sneak in?
Well, if that's the case, I do have one other one. But Greg,
okay, go for it.
Okay.
Yeah, go for it, Todd.
I already took Ozzy's last time.
It's okay. I have several.
Okay. When he's in the restaurant yelling, "I love being single. I haven't had this much sex since I was a Boy Scout leader."
That was great.
That one got me.
So I got to take the moment where it was in the trailer where he was like, "I'll take the strongest thing you got," and then he comes back strong guy, which was funny. But then when he goes, I'll just take a black Russian. And then the waiter walks off, stares at the camera, goes, not doing that joke. Like, just shakes his head. And you just know.
Yeah. All right. So getting into our ratings. I mean, it's no secret. This sequel, it doesn't feel like a traditional comedic sequel. This feels like it could stand on its own. You wouldn't even need, you could take off 2.5 from it and just call it Naked Gun. Like you could have replaced this one with the first movie and it would have been perfectly fine and it would have been just as popular. It's a 5 across, like whole, like massive 5 from me. A 6'3" 5.
There we go. I mean, because they gave us the extra bit of movie, I'm gonna give them that 5.5. So because it is a fantastic film, start to finish, still holds up comedy wise. Yeah, all around brilliant.
Todd?
Well, I'm not going to go that high. I do think the first film is a better film, so I'm going to give it a 2.5 plus 2. So 4.5.
Oh, okay. All right. I thought you were going to be done at 2.5 and we were about to throw fists.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, as of February 23rd, this is available to stream on Paramount Plus, as with the other Naked Gun films, which reminds me, by the way, when I was searching for this, pulling it up on my Paramount Plus, and I typed in Naked, did you guys know there was a reality show on VH1 titled Naked Dating?
There's a better one on Max called Naked Attraction where they're actually naked.
Okay. See, well, yeah, okay. So obviously I type in Naked to get Naked Gun and this one pops up as like, okay, I got to see what this is about. So I watched few first minutes of Naked Dating and it's funny at first. And it's interesting to see how they communicate with each other. Just, everything's out there. Right. And I found myself watching more of the show until they went to dinner and I'm like, oh my God, I'm still watching this. Why am I still watching this? And then she asked, and they're wearing clothes this time, right? So I'm even asking myself even more like, why am I watching this? This is nothing. But it was interesting to see them try to find something to talk about or discuss things once they've already seen everything, like it's just an interesting interaction. So when she asks, what have your previous relationships have been like? And he says, well, I was married once and I got divorced. And shortly after I got divorced, I was diagnosed with bacterial meningitis. So I'm in pain and my heart was broken. I'm like, all right, we're done. We're done. Screw you, man. Get out of here. All right, let's start the movie. But if anybody wants to check out Naked Dating, or there's a UK Naked Dating, it's not available to stream on Paramount Plus. It is edited. However, Todd's suggestion of Naked Attraction, which is streaming on Max, and that's unedited.
And right? It's not as classy. The concept is they're just like literally in a room and there's like either the guy or the chick and they'll have like 4 people and they're completely naked and they're covered and they just raise it up as questions go. So you get up to the legs, you get there, then you get the boobs, then you get the face. It's just a straight meat market. It's pretty.
Wait, so
pretty
like the face is the last thing that's revealed?
Oh
yeah. I want to see some reactions like that.
I was about to say Ozzy is watching this tonight.
Oh, that sounds like fun. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this has been our review for Naked Gun 2.5. If you are in the Orange County area this week, I will be hosting trivia this Tuesday at the Rush Bar and Grill in Lake Forest, beginning at 7 o'clock, and this Wednesday at the Brewery in Placentia, beginning at 7. As always, free to play and prizes for the top winning teams. Come on out, have some fun. You never know, you could win. There's a lot of stupid questions out there, and I try to match the stupidity by songs that have something to do with the answer, and stupid reasoning as to why they have something to do with an answer. So it's all stupid all around, coming from the student of stupidity. All right. So do you guys have anything else before we head out for the evening?
Oh, I think I'm good. I'm just looking forward to next week.
Yeah. Right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, for world famous juggler Greg Larson and Flesh Wound producer Todd, I'm Ozzy V, and we'll see you next week right here on a brand new episode of Flesh Wound Farce.